It's schnitzel. It's schnitzel time. Gotta wake up early, put the chicken on the press, to bread it up. We gotta try our best. It's schnitzel. It's schnitzel time. Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Comfort's Couch Books on Blockchain, episode one. I see Jack Attack. Let's get you up in here. See how you're doing today, bud. Now we're going to do a dedicated space today, Jack, where we are discussing indie publishing and blockchain. We're trying to get this out to YouTube and all the other streaming platforms. Oh yeah, good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. What's going on?
Nothing much right now, chilling out. Heading back from the
Nice,
park.
nice one.
Yeah, comfort.
Oh man, I've been editing today, just trying to get rid of some filler words, getting the old setup, rearing to go. We got Zatoichi on stage. Let's see
So
if I
writing
can
some
pull.
letters from a prompt that
Oh, you
write
got
us
a
all
song for
about
me.
schnitzels. I
There we
decided
go.
I just type my thoughts down like I was writing a message. I'm gonna try and make it sound.
All right, we got that kind of cued in, Jack. I didn't even know Ozzy's song was playing in the background. How about that? He's such a clever wizard, this Ozzy. Um, that I found a Schnitzel song he made. Let's see if I can find it. DR tracks, getting comfy. Nope, there it is. Comfort Schnitzel time cover. You ready for it, Jack? Here we go.
It's schnitzel time. Gotta wake up, put the chicken on the press. Then you bread it up, we gonna try our best. It's schnitzel time. It's schnitzel time. Fried golden, hear that sizzle chime. Add some lemon, maybe a little thyme. It's schnitzel time. Gather round, it's a schnitzel feast. With every bite, you'll feel like you reached a taste of heaven, oh so divine. It's schnitzel time. Don't forget the sides, potatoes are slaw. Make it a meal, make it with awe. Every crunch, every flavor.
Thank you, Zatoichi, for that riveting instrumental of Schnitzel time. Man, the AI has taken us far, Jack. Um, but I don't feel trepidation. I don't feel afraid. I feel like it could be taking us, somewhere beyond what the delights of our imagination could conjure. And as today's theme is kind of centered around indie publishing, we we're at a crossroads where the industry, both traditional and independent formats, have essentially gate kept creativity to what I would deem as a attainable all-time low. Um, I don't feel like there's as many good stories out there being told and published into the world. and we see a lot of repeats. Also, I feel if we didn't have a stranglehold on the creative mind, then our world would be flourishing more so than it is today. And that being said, I'm just glad we have the technology at our disposal to rip open these technosocial wormholes through time and space and say hello to the freaks on the other side. We've got a nice little discussion topic for today. Crazy Jack. Oh, I see you posted some stuff up top, some dress to impress. Good job, bud. Looking good. Um, but like I said, we have a fun topic for today, indie publishing and how that relates to books, putting books on the blockchain. You know, as it stands, the global blockchain market is kind of valued. You know, this is numbers coming from 2023, but 1.5 billion. That was just in the media section of it, um, not in the actual coins. So there's so much room for growth in these environments, and a lot of the bleeding edge technology is there with these communities who are hungry to support. It's just oftentimes folks get duped to supporting flawed business models that lack imagination versus helping artists and creatives retain a hand up at the table instead of a hand out by the back door. And that being said, Crazy Jack, we're almost done with what we need to do for my own book, and we're going to be uh, getting with the AIOW team and placing that on 8chain. I think that's where we're going with it. I was kind of wavering where to go, but simple is more effective, you know, in these types of situations where you're thinking about how much Amazon takes from you with royalties and all the other subsidiary publishers and their models and what that looks like, and trying to scale the market value of something that you put your heart and soul into it becomes a daunting task. But if you find the right people, though, and if you don't have the right people, if you find the right connections, the right technology, the right discipline, uh, you'll be able to see it through. And I think the blockchain technology offers an extra vertical to an already desperate sales model. You spend all those years researching and writing a book only to have it shelved for 2 or 3 years before it can be published by whoever you signed with, who ultimately takes a cut and then controls the price, the point, the market, the yield, everything. In today's climate, it feels more than essential that we push towards new forms of publishing and reaching the communities that help us grow our careers. Because without them, without the reader, the story doesn't matter. You know, they often worry about the world if we burn all the books, and Aldous Huxley warns that we shouldn't worry about the books being burned if we live in a world where no one wants to read. And I hope that by leveraging the blockchain technologies, we'll be able to inspire, you know, these armies of degens uh, to the delightful possibilities of what happens when you put the creative spark ahead of the short-sighted business model of a snake oil salesman who's trying to sell you unity through community, but they're really just out to line their pockets. And the purpose of the indie publishing thing is to take your power back to begin with versus appease someone else's metric and model. And it used to be more difficult uh, to get your works out there, but with on demand printing models and AI at your fingertips, you can ask it almost any question that you would a copyright lawyer and an accountant so that you could become familiar with these terms and with their model of conveying information so that when you go talk to the lawyer or the accountant, you're not like a deer in headlights. You at least have some exposure to what is required of you. Your toolkit can't be limited to your pen and paper and art and easel, but must be a quiver of potentials and ripened possibilities. I see Blovio Supremo has joined us for his early lunch or late lunch. Maybe it's a late lunch. Yeah, it's too potentially a dinner. And I gotta let him know that Zatoichi has found some of our Ozzy's music archives, and that within this archive there is quite an enjoyable song about you, my dear friend. If only I could find it. It's the season of the red ass. Where's it at? Year of the red ass. There we go. I hope you enjoy it.
Leo's got a plan in 2025. He's turning up the heat, he's gonna come alive. With a temper like a storm, he'll be quick to flare. In his own little world, he's the mayor of despair. Oh, Leo's got the red ass, he's the host with the most. If you misbehave, you'll see Leo's temper roast. But there's a secret word, it's radishes, my friends. Shout it out quick before Leo's anger ascends.
That's enough of that, Zatoichi. Thank you for the musical interlude. But we are still talking about indie publishing. You crazy, beautiful freaks. Feel free to quote post the room or not. This is really just here to gather my thoughts and convey my informations that I've discovered. We got here Shimmer and Shine back up on the stage to say hello. What it do, Shimmer and Shine? How are you?
That's first place.
There we go. That's
Let's have the
amazing.
bubble farts.
Thanks, Jack. Oh goodness. You never cease to disappoint, my friend.
I got a book, so I can read the books as well. It's the Wubicate books I read.
What are you reading?
The Wubicate books. The Wubicate books. I got 4 books that were the Wubicate books.
Oh, will you take a picture, post them up top?
Yeah,
There we go.
I love to read books. Plus the time.
What kind of books do you like to read, Jack? Do you like fantasy, sci-fi, action?
I YouTube. I like to read YouTube books. YouTuber books.
Dang. Like business books kinda.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah.
that's some of the business. Cookies and burgers from Diamond Burgers.
Oh, my definitely post I want to see your library if you don't mind. Give me a little
Yeah,
give us a little look see.
I sure
That's
will. Give me 1
yeah,
second,
but
coffee. 1 second.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jack. I love books. I'm just a little. I have my old Dr. Seuss books with me still, just for inspiration. But what would be the world be like if those books weren't published? Would they have been able to inspire, the hearts and minds in a different way? These thoughts and more do keep me up at night, but it's perfectly okay because those things are hypotheticals. They don't exist except for in the mind, and it's not until you put them to the pad through the pen and the blood drips from your brow you get to give it life. So don't dwell over the fleeting ghosts that haunt your imagination, but instead lend your verse and channel the angst into whatever creative genesis you can muster, be it dancing or baking or engineering or even banking. Just don't forget each other along the way. I think that's the main thing, to not forget. Just like I don't need to forget the topic for today is indie publishing, you crazy freaks. Jack trying to get me all sidetracked. This is how Leo must feel in the morning. So he's just trying to have a simple conversation about this, that, and the other. So I've identified in my little business plan for indie publishing, the top five, which is basically Amazon with their Kindle Direct, and you have Smashwords is another form of digital publishing. You have Ingram Spark, and the list goes on. The thing that a lot of those older indie publishing models kind of stumble over is having the royalties be under their explicit control so that they can keep their models, accurate and aligned with what their board and investors tell them needs to happen. But it puts the author in a very precarious position where your works and their values, which give profit to these models, don't essentially require you to have representation because there's 1,000 of you. And if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else.
Books I have so far.
Oh shit. Let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah. Those are good.
All the series, all of them.
That's awesome.
Got the Dog Days, everything.
Oh, I love that, Jack. Now is that's all of them? There's only 6?
Yep, so 6 books. He's got so far 6.
That's plenty. That's more than me.
Those are good books, though.
Oh yeah. Now out of the 6, which is your favorite, Jack?
Dog Days, for sure. Dog Days.
Dog Days.
Yeah.
Is that about summertime?
Yeah.
Oh man. I bet it's good. Riding bikes, having fun, battling bullies.
It's a really good book. Love it. It's a good books. I'm a free time reading. I'm a free time reading some books.
Oh, yeah. Reading's like breathing in, they say.
Yeah.
Helps you focus the mind, because with our technology, it's so all over the place, shooting hither and yon.
I'm gonna do more free time to read it and play some Roblox.
Hey, that doesn't sound like a bad day, Jack.
The books tonight. There's scared meatballs tonight. Scared meatballs.
Oh, yum. Yum.
I'm gonna come for I gotta go, dude. I gotta get something today, man.
All right, bud. Thanks for sharing your book collection with us. All about the book.
What bucks?
Exactly.
Goodbye,
Leo.
y'all.
Peace, bud.
Peace.
What you got, Leo? Good afternoon.
Recursion. Blake Crouch. Are you
All right.
familiar?
Nope.
You're gonna fucking love it. It deals with fake memory syndrome.
Recursion and fake memory syndrome.
Recursion. The guy's name is Blake Crouch. it is literally right in your wheelhouse. It's a story about how this cop is trying to figure out this whole fake memory syndrome, all the while a scientist is trying to treat Alzheimer's patients and recreating memories. It's a fucking. I think you're going to love it.
I'm looking at it right now. Exploring the potential of for manipulating time and the nature of reality, where fake memory are intertwined. I love it. False memory syndrome,
I thought you would.
recursive memory manipulation.
Recursion.
Yeah. I wonder if they're taking that from Nietzsche, where he's talking about the eternal recursion, the eternal return.
I'm not sure, but I do know that one of the byproducts of heavy use of AI has turned out to be people that are experiencing shit that never happened to them,
Mm,
which is crazy as hell.
hmm. I wonder if it could be designed for trauma response,
I mean, potentially.
But then it's like, yeah,
The
I mean,
idea of giving somebody fake memories—that's just so crazy.
hmm we'll give ourselves fake memories all the time, kind of,
Oh, 100%. I
you
think
know.
that I mean, you're talking about how much more can the mind's eye see if the real eyes are seeing 3% or 5% or
hmm
whatever. You assume that it's going to be less, like a lot less. So I think being able to see the story. I heard an interesting article about reading books. The guy was talking about uh, Dostoevsky's The Brothers Karamazov. Have you read it?
Mm-mm.
Mm. It's classic because it's a lot of famous people's favorite book,
Okay.
right? Like that's a good search. I wonder if that's something Grok could tell us. I guess if it were published or whatever, common knowledge. But if you were to take the cross section like Einstein and fucking a lot of people, and there's a couple of chapters in there. One of them is there's two specific ones that are pretty epic. I'll send it. I'll send it to you. I'll send the article to you.
Yes, please. Please, indeed, do.
You're familiar with that book, though, right?
I've heard people reference it before. Let's
It's
see here.
basically a murder mystery. If I'm going to give you the overview of it, it's these sons that are all the prime suspect of their daddy who'd been murdered.
Okay.
And that's pretty much the story, but it's literally about philosophy. And one of the chapters that I was trying to remember, I forget what it is, 24 or something, but it's one of the brothers talks to the devil. And that one is one that people look at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mystery. I've got it pulled up here just so I can check it out later. Damn, that's two books off top. That's crazy, Leah. Coming in with the heaters.
Yeah.
Recursion and the Brothers Karamazov.
Yeah. And the Brothers Karamazov is literally, it's so good and so thick. And it was a long time since I read it back in college, but I want to reread it. And yeah, because Freud, a bunch of people said it was their favorite book, and
What
they went on to have huge contributions to mankind.
what is it about the book that you enjoyed? Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it's about trying to figure out who done it, kind of, but underneath all of that, it's literally the questions that we all ask ourselves about guilt and innocence and responsibility and shit like that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. It's a big one too.
Let's see here.
It's set in like turn of the century Russia. So that's what makes it a little thicker for people to get through. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, luckily, there's like folks who've gone through it and they love this stuff and they need to have the desire to produce content. So they've created 8-minute YouTube video.
one of
for
the things
folks
that,
to glean.
well, right, they want the Cliff Notes, TLDR, but see, you lose all the character development.
Hmm.
The whole point of being a good storyteller is to weave a character to where the person reading it, you know, halfway through the book knows how it's going to respond because they've developed a relationship with that character. And that's all. I think the beauty of being a great writer is developing a good character because that's what draws somebody into the story, right?
Yeah, and it's just how would the world be if that book hadn't been able to be published?
Yeah, the influence that it had on the people that consider it their favorite book when reading was, predating fucking Netflix. I do believe that the Netflix series type of things, where it's like 6 or 7 or 4 or 5 different hour-long episodes, it is a serialization, but I think it's them able to tell a story. It's hard as hell to tell a story in an hour and a half, right? Or
Yeah,
or two
man,
hours.
it ain't gonna happen. Not
But if you got
adequate. I
if
mean,
you got if you got 9 hours or whatever, 7 hours, you get a little more chance to build up the characters. You know what I mean? Like the guy in what's the one everybody likes, Severance. The guy, the black guy that's like the manager dude, where he does all the crazy shit at the end of the last episode. Like that's not gonna be anywhere as good. It's basically what Ozzy was talking about earlier today when we were talking about me crying. He was like, it's not the fact that a 60-year-old man is crying. It's that our boy Leo, the fat pink panther, the dumbass that we know and love and hate sometimes and have grown together with for 3 years, it's him that's doing the crying. So you have a relationship with the person. If you want to get a good book written, do that. Have the person that's reading love and or hate the person that you're displaying or character. This coming from a knuckle dragging contractor that doesn't know how to write a paragraph. I'm just saying, I know what to do.
which is why I stand firmly with the old give the author the advantage. Leverage that blockchain technology. What are your thoughts at this point in time on pushing things onto blockchain, Leo?
I
Have
think
you
that
given it any more thought?
well, I think it's just a new medium. I think there's going to be the same thing that Violetta struggled with 2 or 3 years ago. I think it's new. And I think you have to set up the rails for people to be aware this is one way to consume content. And that's teaching the mob and the masses is, you know, virtually impossible. Uh, but you can get a few people hither and yon to understand shit, man, I do like this book. I do like this story. I do want to continue reading this or whatever. It's going to be a lot of work. I dare say that developing a system for this to happen on the blockchain may be equally as hard as creating the novel itself, which is not what you want to hear. But I think it's important. And I think the people that set the foundation for this to be a thing, man, you talking about Comfort Billionaire, like it's more important than your book and Tony's book and uh, the process of setting a system up where people can come and fall back in love with reading, whatever that looks like. I don't give a shit if we got to have little dancing fat pink panthers and sound effects and
One on every page. Bells and
right.
whistles, little confetti. Poof, piffs you.
You're onto
Whatever it
something with the
takes.
with, you're onto something with the confetti shit. You
Right?
know,
So the pop-up books.
I started taking a couple of free classes. I signed up for the Harvard class on Christianity, and
Okay.
it doesn't cost anything unless you try to make the credits or whatever count. And I don't give a shit about that necessarily, but and I love the fact that she's teaching it from a scholarly perspective and not a religious one or a believer's perspective. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And she didn't make it clear to whether she believed or not, which is great. But I was just going through some of the modules, and people love clicking off an outline. You know, like if you do serialize, it might be cool to get like a progress bar. Is basically what I'm talking about.
Ooh, okay. Like now, I've been thinking about that, Leo. I was like, what if, just for the sake of it all, um, and to throw in a little novelty, I was like, what if we just do the normal flip book on 8 chain and then serialize it on base, or the reverse, serialize it on 8 and do a whole one on base.
Yeah, I think mixing it up is good. I think that you might have some crossovers. Some people are like, well, damn, I didn't know I could have bought the whole thing. I would make sure that I was transparent about the whole deal.
Oh yeah. Well, I just want to give the 8 chain people, I think I want to give it to them first.
Well, they have the best connection with the people that are helping you put it out,
Yes.
and they tend to have the best. Now, I don't know what the demographic is in terms of readers,
Yeah.
but that may be irrelevant. I think you might want to try the serialized version first, only because if it works,
Hmm.
you haven't already put the whole thing out there somewhere else.
Exactly. Exactly. It just means
Primera,
I just have to break it up. That's all.
exactly. And I think that's what T Mac should do as well, which just means that your whole launch of the whole thing even gets pushed back further. Patience is the key, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Especially when you see the fish starting to nibble. You don't want to rip its lips off, so to speak.
Well, on the other side is that you don't want to go so fast that you miss a foundational piece in terms of how you're going to build the rails for this system to work.
Yeah. Because you can't just be thinking to the next to the next book. You know, you want
Your
to see
thought
how
should
it
really be
works with
your thought
the other books in how it works amongst the ecosystem.
100%. I was just going to say the exact same thing. Your thought should be, how do I make this process easier for Lark or whoever, fill in the blank.
Yes. Yeah.
Leo.
Well, I think I'm going to put like the blank template of my little 33-page little business plan. I think I'm going to put that for people to access.
I like it.
Just because it has, like, it shows you, it's like, hey, you need a retail license, you probably need a business license. You're gonna need these login informations, password things, just to have a template. Because it's for me, it was difficult to visualize all that.
Oh, dude, it's a lot. I wonder if people would want to have that streamlined to where they didn't have to do all the 33 pages of shit.
Fuck yeah, they
They just
would.
had to. Well, I'm just saying, wouldn't they rather have? Yeah, I'm saying, wouldn't they rather have come under an umbrella publishing company where all
Yes,
that was done?
yes, 100%. There's gonna be a lot of people coming. At least the way I see it. Once once we find that down the stream, Leo, and you start pulling writers from the writing spectrum, the author spectrum of it all, they're gonna need a way.
Think about this. Think about how many musicians there are busking and how many authors there are writing in their little command centers across the globe. And then think about how much more the musicians have avenues to peddle their wares, whether it be busking or whether it be, little concerts or
Yeah.
little gigs hither and yon. Whereas
Hmm.
the writer literally has nowhere outside of an open mic night or a poetry night hither and yon.
That's it. A
There's
literary
nowhere.
thing.
Yeah. So the pent up, so there needs to be an avenue where that, because man, how many Brothers Karamazov novels are out there that are languishing in obscurity?
Right? Because they're in the wrong country, or they've got the wrong name, or whatever gatekeeper metric is keeping that story from being in a free market for folks, for consumers to decide whether it's good or not.
Man, it is a scary thought, though. I think that your work is very important because as soon as nobody wants to read, then the next step is nobody can read. Do you know what I mean? Like you talking
Mhm.
about being able to rewrite history and manipulate the masses. Think about if they couldn't fucking read.
Well, think about this though. Think about the notion that you don't control the skill of how you read. That's no longer in your disposal. It's like this is what works. This is what the ad model says. Here's some advertisement. Obey your thirst. Drink the Sprite.
Drink the Sprite.
Drink this. They get me every time. They get me every time. Well, good. Good. I will. I'll create like a separate document and try to just piece it apart. See if I can just like download just one chapter at a time. I think it'll produce just one chapter and do it that way. Because I do like the serialization of it. I wrote it small,
Yeah,
small,
that's
big
that's the
small.
best. Well, I mean, you're not gonna get somebody to take a big 700-page bite, but you might get them to take a 10-page bite.
100%. Or I can just say the hell with it and be like, here's a book, you schmuck. Here's a book, you schmuck. We out. We got more books to write. Enjoy.
Yeah,
But
you're right. You can't get caught up on hand holding somebody to the altar. You have to give them the good news and hope that the spirit shows up and helps them, and your work here is done. Situation.
exactly.
Yeah, because some people are never going to read it. Some people don't want to read it. You're never going to convince all the people all the time. You're
And you
right. You're 100% right. That's the right approach. Put it out there, let them get it, keep it moving.
because it's gonna be out on Amazon, Ingram Spark, Book Baby. There's like fucking there's just so many of them. Sadly, they all have their own royalty thing that you got to keep up with. Amazon taking 70 today, 60 on this date. This other people doing extended distribution models. You're only getting this small percentage back of it. You're getting $1 on the book back, maybe type deal. And you just like just seeing all this work and this effort and all these hands just touch everything, and you still aren't able to get to your reader. And I wish that more authors would host spaces.
Well,
It's
they don't because
it's
they don't
sad that
know that
I'm the
it's an
only one.
avenue. Well, they don't because they don't know it's an avenue to turn it into dollars.
Yeah,
They didn't know that shit about V getting a Bitcoin for a song until she did it.
yeah,
And now they can't stop talking about it.
right.
So it's a matter of, yeah, that's what's so crazy is you could have the best book in the world, but if nobody reads it, what good is it?
Yep. So you do things like this so that you're able to enjoy being with people versus just trying to sell them something.
Mm.
That's why you can't like put a price on this. I can put a price on sitting in line for discounted gas at Costco or wherever fuck. You know, like, am I gonna wait 30 minutes to save 50 cents? No, I'm good. I'm out of here. My time's worth more than 30 minutes. But in these types of spaces, I find it just being just an invaluable experience almost each and every time. Even when we get the rando jackbags on stage and Twitter feelings get hurt and the nutty nonsense, the whole shebang. Uh, I I definitely want to add that to the mission statement though to challenge as many authors to start hosting public spaces. It doesn't even have to be on Twitter. It can be at your coffee shop, but to allow more auditory outlets for the creative mind to unfurl and stories to be shared, etc., etc.
I like it.
Right? I mean, even V's little tokenization Discord Zoom shows, very very fun use. A nice little imaginative addition to being part of our community. I think they're going on their second cruise together. How
I
random is
know,
that?
right?
Random
So
but
nutty.
wonderful. It's like, what is going on?
That's so nutty. I love it.
Right? And it's like, what if you could hang out with your favorite stars, your favorite artists, I guess, you know?
Isn't that much better though?
God, wouldn't it be? Like, it doesn't
See,
matter that a million of
that's
you
why
love Taylor
that's why I
Swift or
came up.
whatever. You know, it's like, nah, I got to go chill with Skeeter and the boys.
I made him some cheese biscuits.
Yeah. And like then they wrote some crazy songs about it. It was a good time. Go ahead,
What were
Treasure.
you saying, Treasure?
Yeah, I was saying this is why I came up, but what if there is many people, they just wanna read the book, they don't wanna the connection. And especially, authors, they same thing. They just wanna write books, sell them or give them away, and they don't know, they are not looking for that connection. They don't wanna.
You're right.
It's
I
it's
think
because it's a work. It's like, and I know we trying to whatever it, but it's more. It's growing bigger. It's gonna be harder and harder to create any new connections or to keep like connections with like more and more people. So it's not really scalable. I think, and
that's a really
it's
good
not for
point. I
it's
wonder
not
what the
for, it's
Donovan
it's
number.
not for everyone. It's not for everyone. You
I
have
wonder what the
to.
Donovan number is for a performer comfort. Remember we talked about it a couple days ago. The
Mm-hmm.
Donovan number is the number of people you can have relationships with. That's what he's
Yep.
speaking to.
I know. But I mean,
I
that's
wonder how that works with performers.
not every relationship's supposed to be maintained for
Super,
one,
super
you know.
deep. Yeah.
Yeah. Like because we weave in and out. Like might be super tight for like a couple years this way, and then something happened, and it's like, oh, you come back, and it's just the whole thing. I feel like if that's the problem, we're headed in the right direction. I give me that problem any day. Um, we just got to get it so the kid in Myanmar can get his granny's mac and cheese recipe out before the fucking island floods away, or you can get the token that takes you to the beach weekend nature walk getaway in the rainforest with DJ Nerd and his family, or you're out on the Outer Banks, or you're mining for gold. But it's just bringing business solutions to that entrepreneurial mindset because the entrepreneur is one of the most creative minds out there. It's one of the only creative minds that's been able to kind of fend off the poisons of a pure economic model.
Think about that though for a second, Comfort. What Treasure brings up and what you were just talking about. What is more important? You know how that old saying where in my business they talk about form follows function,
Okay.
right? Like we can make it look pretty, but the shit has got to work. Like we're gonna have 7.25 inch steps so the shit passes cut. You know what I mean? Like that shit
Hmm.
takes priority. Building it to code is the first thing. Making it look fancy to where your wife likes it, that's secondary, right?
Yeah.
I wonder how that works with what Treasure was just talking about. Because the apathy of the author and the audience, not wanting to know the author or not giving a shit about the audience. So the question becomes what is more valuable in that exchange, the art or the audience?
I don't, I wonder if you can even begin to separate them.
I mean, the best concerts are always the ones where there's a response between the crowd and the band.
Oh, yeah.
That's why going to a Grateful Dead concert back in the day
Yep.
is unmatched in terms of
I
the
bet.
call and response from the band and the crowd, and that symbiotic relationship was what
Guys,
made it extra special.
Now that's
so
the mind in flight, Leo. That experience there. That's the human mind in flight when it's just communicating like that. Go ahead, Treasure.
So how many books, guys, you read that you was kind of wondering or be interested who wrote this book? Who is he? I might
Almost
wanna
everyone.
connect with them. Or on other hand, if you just read the books that you like, you say, okay, this is cool. I wanna more of these kind of books. How many books is actually you wanna actually find the author? Because there is so many books, people read just maybe for the what's in the book, but it's really not about who wrote the book.
I don't know, man. I disagree
Mm,
because when I read Kurt Vonnegut, first time I read Cat's Cradle, I was like, holy shit. I want to read everything that this guy ever wrote because I totally loved how he wrote it, and the books weren't super long. Chapters were super short. I was able to get through it and understand it. I read a lot of books on the trail and in college, and every time same thing with Dharma Bums. As soon as I
Yeah,
read
dude.
that, man,
Shit,
I was like, "Holy shit!
dude.
Give me everything else this guy's got."
When he's
Bukowski's poetry. I mean, it's the same thing.
hmm
Like I would answer my answer to your question would be almost every single time. I want to know the mind of the guy or gal that created, recursion. It's interesting.
definitely would love to kick it with Tom Robbins to learn
then
from
it
him,
sh-
to
then it
hear what
should
he.
be really easy then, after you publish your book, really like connect with the people, because they will want, if they will buy with the book, they will like it, they will
They
give
want to
you
talk to
money,
comfort. Yeah.
and they will want to have the next book, or they will want to whatever meetup you set up, for maybe, just, or we will have online, maybe some kind of, reading from the book or talking about it. They will want to be there.
I know one thing. I remember Joe Ryan listening to T Mac. He had a space one time, and she came and read her book, and it was like she wanted to read the part about she got her period on a plane or some crazy shit. Her mom did or something, and they all fucking loved it. And he was like, "Holy shit! It's amazing to hear you read this country ass shit, with her accent and the whole bit." And I have a feeling that tons of people would want to talk to her about the crazy shit and stuff that she tells in the book. You know what I mean?
About our period.
Not about that necessarily, but I'm glad that you chimed in with that, Jack Bag.
This is what I come into hearing. I'm dead.
You didn't hear none of that other stuff about liberating the creative mind. That's all you heard. Was,
Trust me, sir. I've heard plenty of that.
I bet, yeah. Look, it was a rough takeoff. All right, had all the pieces scattered throughout the whole everything. The whole streaming setup was deconstructed and put back together on the fly. So I'm glad each and every one of you are here today to help me understand how to leverage this blockchain technology, how to liberate the creative mind. That's the only way I can see forward. I'm limited by my lens.
That's why we got the Dutch. Uh, DJ, what are you doing, you freak show?
What's up, bitches?
Nothing, nothing. We're just waiting for your damn eco tourist shit to be set up.
Yeah, me too. Can't wait. Can't wait to start that.
I don't really know how to do all that buying of the tickets and shit. That's my problem. I forgot how to do all the NFT shit. So I don't know, but I wouldn't mind buying some raffle tickets. But I don't know how. I'm just being honest.
Well, it's not that hard.
I'll send some
Um,
money to your Mazda. But the problem if I do that is he's gonna keep the tickets until the draw and be like, oh, that's the one I bought. You know what I mean?
Mm,
He's a
No, I'm
fuckhead like
definitely
that.
just, I'm just running away with the money you give me for the tickets. What are you talking about?
That's right. He's not even gonna buy the tickets. He'd be like,
mm,
yeah, you lost.
Exactly. I don't think it's
Yeah, you lost.
yeah,
Jeez
your
Louise.
tickets for loser.
You could do that instead of moving down to the Outer Banks? Shame.
I know, right? It's so short sighted.
Jeez Louise. I'm telling you, fertile soil. Dig
Sounds like
deep.
our politicians. Wouldn't know a good idea if it kicked him right in the nuts.
Mm-mm-mm. Speaking of good ideas, I cannot stop thinking about books on blockchain every day. Yeah.
No, I get it. It's kind of a new frontier. It's kind of you know, forging new territory, new ground.
What does it look like? How do you gamify it? How do you reward it?
I mean, I think the serialization is key. I think that the progress bar is key.
Progress
I
bar.
think that you
Okay.
put some merch on the end of a stick.
Yep. I don't know, like hoodies, stickers, stress buddies. Something. There just has to be a sensible
Good,
way.
if you really wanted to do something, you could gamify it to where your affiliates, for lack of a better term, would be the first, 20 people or 50 people that were interested in doing that and had read the book, and then they were green lighted for the most commission on every book that they sold.
Oh yeah.
Then every person that reads it and believes in it can help you, plus they can earn a hardback and all kinds of shit, whatever.
Hmm.
You can make the price chart easy.
Yeah, because you could just do the affiliate thing and then cut them into the wholesale model thing at
Yeah,
the
on a
bottom.
percentage basis, yeah.
You're gonna gamify the book as well.
I don't know.
Make it like reading the book will gain you XP, and that XP can be exchanged for something, right?
Honestly, if you really wanted to do something and you could put your money where your mouth is in terms of how good the book is, and this may take you 6 months or a year to do this within the book, but what you could do is take some fucking Bitcoin, and whoever figures out, I don't know if it's a mystery or there's got to be some kind of puzzle,
Oh man, can you
like
make?
the whole cicada 129 or whatever
Yeah.
bullshit.
Put the seed phrase in your book.
Yeah, whoever finds the seed phrase and is able to figure it out based on the clues from the story and the placement of the words. I mean, you can make it as hard as fuck,
Yeah.
and
And when
that
they
would
get the
be
wallet, it's just got a bunch of Mimi use in it.
exactly, exactly. There would be a bunch of wallets that would explode with Mimi UUs
Yes.
that were not the right wallet, but somehow could be conceived as the right wallet. And it wouldn't be a honeypot. It would just be, hey, you didn't make it. This is cool, and you got some cool shit, but you figured it wrong on the last word or
Yeah.
whatever.
It was really
What?
Mars repair, Inquisition, trimmings, bonfire.
Schnitzel.
Exactly.
You can make your own C phrase, right?
Yeah, of course you can.
Oh yeah. No. If that's the case, then you could totally gamify it by because there's a fucking
What fucking wallet have you been able to make your own seed phrase on?
Oh, it's the new one DJ's coming out with. DJ
Okay,
Nerd.
cool.
It was quite funny that you don't know how to mint the NFT, but you did know there is a wallet where you can make your own
Exactly.
seed
Yeah. See,
phrase.
that's
Yeah.
Enigma wrapped in a conundrum. Exactly,
he
DJ
knows a
Nerd.
There he
little
is.
about a lot of things from a different
Dude,
angle.
it's crazy. You're so
Exactly.
fast.
Exactly, DJ.
He's like, I'll find it for me.
Yeah, but I don't know what wallet you're talking about, Leo, to be honest.
Well, see, that's something that you don't know. How about that?
Ship of fools, indeed. At Astro.
If y'all hadn't figured out that I'm full of shit at this point, y'all ain't got no fucking chance.
That's why I come to you with the
Oh, we know,
ideas.
Leo, we know.
Treasure.
But I think though that the IO team's got a cool little suite of tools to tap into.
Yeah, they've been working on it for years. I'm excited about seeing how that
Well,
does
because
work.
they have a whole missions gamification points thingy.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. So they
So what about Spunky? I got any good Spunkies? I don't even know.
But that mission thing is really cool.
hmm
Cool. It works nice. Has a multiplier. When you have more spunkies, you get more points.
hmm And you can
I
do
mean, one
that with
thing.
your own project though, so you can gamify that way so that if you own three Mimi you use, you got the
Hey, look, dude. Here's the difference.
yeah.
It's all fucking packaging and marketing, just like dumbass Thirst Trap Thursday says. So if I tell a bunch of DGens, hey, you want to read this 700 book about space? It's gonna free the creative mind for 7 generations. The fucking answer is hell no, fat man. Get the fuck out of here. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard. But a caveated, nuanced way of approaching the same sale is all right, motherfuckers, there's a code in here and it's worth $5,000. And so, like, you can either get all of it or part of it or some of it but you got to read this book, and then you got to figure out these fucking clues, and you got to do this shit. There'd been people that would read that shit in 3 nights. They'd be all over it. So read, 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 read. Maybe you got to make it more than 5,000. But my point is the same. One scenario, nobody's reading it. Other scenario, every swinging degen from here to Topeka, Kansas is going to be like, oh, it's a digital challenge on the blockchain with a wallet address that ends up having cash in it. They're reading it. Isn't that funny?
Can I feed it to AI and AI will just read it for me?
Yes. It
The
might make it
AI
sentient.
inspired.
It might
Yeah,
make it sentient though.
you have to go to the edge of your digital awareness to get the prize wallet.
Oh,
You could gamify the shit out of it.
the places we will go. The places we will go.
Maybe you got to trick them into reading.
Well, you got
All
to.
the damn answers. All the answers are in the books.
That's
But if
why
you're a dumbass that's too lazy to read, you know, you got to trick them.
that's why I designed the book the way I did. There's a disclaimer at the front, letting them know it contains sex, drugs, and rock and roll. There's some pictures. There's some space, headlines, some bold font. Really challenges the eye and rewards the discipline to get from one to the other. But you can lead a horse to water. Getting them to drink is entirely its
Are
own.
there any books already on the blockchain? Did
Uh, there
anybody publish
there
anything?
are some on like book.io, but they have like a coin system they use with Cardano and stuff like that. Versus this will be a coin that's animated as a flip book that you can flip through, but then token gate it to just download the another digital copy of it.
And all these digital copies, are you putting them on IPFS or where are you putting them?
On Arweave.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then that just be the placeholder for them. And then, you would say that long run, like Leo was mentioning, you adapt a type of affiliate marketing program that actually would give them the royalties versus Amazon. If Amazon's taking 30% off top, it's like you've got some room to play uh, with how you could reward and inspire the entrepreneurial mindset. But I mean, that's only for like people who just want to hold and contribute to the whole publishing industry. Because as it is, it's pretty dry out there. You got Penguin, Random House, they're one entity. Your options are shrinking every day, kind of like a tide pool. And we need more bodies on the ground so we can get more of the brothers Karamazov, right? Karamazov, yep. Get
Yeah, Karamazov. Yeah.
Karamazov, get more of those stories out to the general population. Because right now, I feel like it's been a drought in storytelling. So
But to
many.
think about that though, how many good stories are there out there that nobody knows about?
Hmm.
How many? I mean, I don't know if it's a lack of good stories. It's a lack of. I think the audience is the problem.
You think?
Yeah, because I think that they're, you know, Why do you want to read a story about turn of the century Russia to convict you about questions you hadn't even thought about? It's much easier just to, you know, put on Monday Night Football and say, fuck it.
It is. Because we've been conditioned to do so.
Right.
But that next tale could inspire a Netflix series. You know,
That changes the mind of D-Gen's kid that writes the next rock opera that frees 3 of the 7 generations.
Because for me, I don't feel like it matters the medium that it's in, just as long as the story gets out there. And as it stands now, you know, Amazon controls the pricing. Penguin Random House, they basically, if you sign with them, but you don't meet their 10,000 sales, you don't meet the quota, you're going into a bargain book spin.
Right.
And, you know, and it's like, I feel it just limits the story's ability to breathe. And adding this extra vertical, man, as well as traditional models of entrepreneurial distribution, farmers market, local bookstores, just having that. There's a way to strengthen indie publishing with blockchain technology to fortify it against the big uns while utilizing the track work that they've already leveraged. Could you imagine though a Web3 publishing company though, just like full on Amazon, Random Penguin House, KDP, AI operated dark warehouse, syndicated distribution center? It'd be great.
All right, back to work. Love the freaks.
Get out of here. Thanks for visiting and entertaining. I actually just realized that it is 3 o'clock. I was only going to do this space for an hour today. Just a little ditty where we get to chat it up by the fireside and kind of just tinker with the idea of blockchain publishing and what it can do for the indie industry. Next week, we'll be talking about mental health and writing. So consult your experts, bring your self-help gurus and breathing apparatus. We're gonna delve deep into figuring out how to protect the creative wildfire from the deluge of everydayness. DJ Nerd, thanks for chilling. Yamaza, thank you so much. I got to get back to these filler words. Lots of thens I found.
Get them with the filler words.
Filler words, filler words. Plus, Elle said I'm not allowed to do anything related to publishing except for host this space until she gets back from her trip. So I'll be dedicated to the craft, to the process. Remember to drink plenty of water. Stay mindful of your postures. And continue to be positive and love your lives. We'll take you out with a Aussie Zen Especial. Where are we at? Here it is. We're getting some schnitzel time. Love you, freaks. Till next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Later, Comfy.
It's schnitzel time. Gotta wake up, put the chicken on the press. Then you bread it up, we gonna try our best. It's schnitzel time. It's schnitzel time. Fried golden, hear that sizzle chime. Add some lemon, maybe a little thyme. It's schnitzel time. Gather round, it's it's a schnitzel feast. With every bite, you'll feel like you reached a taste of heaven, oh so divine. It's schnitzel time. Don't forget the sides, potatoes are slaw. Make it a meal, make it with awe. Every crunch, every flavor's prime. It's schnitzel time.